Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Corintar. In the last one, we did a little bit of expansion. We finished off the deep woods over here for Corvoria's incursions, and we've been working on the... not that button. I've been working on the... yes, the wonders of Cstonath. I think soon it is going to be time to betray Grumbar. As sad as that may be. What's my Truce with Ibavar done? 70. Got 8 years on that. I think I might have to actually go after... yeah. I think I might have to just directly declare on them, because I would like to annex you at some point. And my other vassal is this one down here. But I think in this one, we're going to be focusing on taking out Orcs. Who are you allied to? Keterat. Okay, that's not so bad. Would they join? Yes, they would. Oh, and you have a core on one of these provinces. Good. Love to see that. Okay, so I would like you to leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. If you do all of those things, I would be very happy, and they also all help me in the algorithm, so please do them. Cannorian Separatists. Okay, cool. Don't care about that. Too many generals. How many generals are we over? By 2. Right, because I have the Artificer stacks now. That's fun. Tech? Is there a reason I'm not using advent points? Probably not. I guess I'll just grab that? Sure. Ooh, you know what I should be doing? I should be building these on all those coal provinces. That sounds like a good plan. Well, looks like I improved with all the outrage countries. They might leave the coalition soon. Can only hope. I don't want to deal with them. Right. We're at war with these guys. I'm going to ignore them. Offensive ideas. Yes, this one's pretty important, because I'm pretty sure that'll actually help with that. Helped. Give me 1 point back. Mystic Ciphers. Ooh, we got our first Artificer Invention. You can read this if you want. We are not focusing on Artificery, so we're just going to leave that up. And then we can add that as a privilege. I think I'm just going to. Where are you? Here. Alright, Apparitional Communicator is not very worth it. Mystic Ciphers is pretty nice. Foreign spy detection and spy network construction. Pretty useful. Let's see. Self-cleaning parchment, view catcher, or living mirrors. Probably that one. Ah, it was theirs. You got this? You got this. What are you doing, dude? Please die. Goodbye. Get out. Thank you. You silly goose. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. Should definitely full core those. Uh-oh. Hit the button. And we got one of these. I don't know. That one. Okay. Oh, that's a... right, we're making a lot of money. Where are my coal provinces? That's 1. That one's already got 1. All right, cool. 2, 3, and 4. Is that all of them? Yes, that's all 4 of my coal. Yes. General's dead. Get another one. Fine, being 1 point over. That's not so bad. Red Tuff spread. Very good. If we look at that... yes, they are quite all over the place. Love to see that. All right. Very good. Dragon Forge ruins cleared. When the Greentide struck down the gates of Cstonath, the Balgersmiths held out for over a year atop the Dragon Forge and its adjacent crenellations. Eventually, however, the Orcish threat was too great, and the Balgersmiths set the Dragon Forge aflame, destroying much of the original foundry and structure to prevent it from being used by the Orcs. Now that we have cleared the destruction of Rebel from its wake, we can finally get around to restoring the inner workings of the forge. Very nice. Ooh, you are not part of my... I never added you in. Let's do that then. No need for that. Of course, you get to have that. Any of my forts? Yes, the inner forts are not yet upgraded. Just upgrade all of them. I don't really care. And there we go. Very good. Okay. Let's get to him. Perfect. Kill. Yeah, that'll be fine. Half-Orc created. Very good. Let's see, Cookter, do you have ideas? You do. Let's see. Do you have military ideas? You have morale of armies. Okay, that's not bad. What about you? I'm sure you'd also vassalize. Because I own your horse. Yeah, whatever. I'd vassalize you by force if I had to. Let's see what your ideas are. Let's see. Attrition for enemies is actually kind of nice. Infantry combat ability, land force limit. They'd be pretty nice to march, actually. But I think Cookter's going to be a little better, simply because I don't have the cores. I think Cookter might be a little better. Who's this? Just a weird color when they combine them. Okay. Imperial apartments finished. While much of the Imperial Palace is usable, if we are to base our center of power around the splendid court, considerable renovations have to be done across the palace grounds itself and nearby buildings in the upper city. The Imperial apartments will eventually house the majority of the nobility of the realm and any who wish to gain the Grandmaster's favor. Very nice. Alright, very nice. Get that one. And printing press, thank you for the free points. Very good. Alright. No one's doing anything anymore. Looks like everyone's been improved with. 143 cursor expansion. Yeah. Just, yeah. Let's get one on allies, and then just one on neighbor. That should do. They'll be fine. They're fine. Let them be. Go deal with them, please. And end of the rot. Okay, cool. Don't really care is the thing. Just kind of letting it happen. Do you need more forts? Yes. Yes, you do. Grab one there. And then one to protect the rest of this. Very good. That'll be good for those. Let's grab one on your capital. I would like you to be quite defensive. You're only defensive at this point. I'd like you to be quite defensive. There we go. Forgery of documents. I don't care. Give me the admin points. Serpent's Cure. Good for them. Against the cult. Good. Get it out of here. Let's finish this idea group off. I'll take the prestige. It's fine. And Diplomat's dead. But we have new policies. Let's see what we got. Dip relations and force limit. Diplomat's spy network. Diplomatic annexation cost. That one's going to be useful. Ooh, that one's good. Ooh, another improved relations. We're going to keep this guy on for now. Trolls. Yes, let them in. Powerful official cotton scandal. I mean, elves. I get it, dude. I get it. Army's way to glory. Very good. Adventurer refused to hand over artifact to artificers. Don't be stupid. Goblin Skulkers, K. There we go. Don't really care what's going on over here. Do I need to send an army in? It looks like I probably do. Let me drill. Send in the stack. Invite gnomes. Gnomes are only at coexistence. Yes. I would like them to be integrated, please. Get more value out of them. There's no need. Come back. This province is unprotected. Give me the forward fort. Seems useful. Courtesy seek protection. That's fine. This war is going on a really long time. Can you just finish them off? Gnomes are here. Very good. Okay. Money's good. I like the money. I do. Benign neglect. Give me taxes. I don't care. Or trade. Do what you want. And why couldn't this have just happened from the front? Like, was it really that hard? I was trying to get him. Gold. And the other gold province, too. Thank you. And then the other gold province. Unexpected beauty. A section of the Dragon Forts has been built to be more beautiful than was to be expected. It will become a prestigious location to host foreign dignitaries and envoys to show the latest developments of our project. Very nice. And prestigious. I too can speak the good. There we go. Finally done. Yeah, they can be mad. I don't care. I want the crown land. Yeah, stay mad. I don't care. Please go get them. Thank you. And yes, we're going to level up all of these right here. Very good. Do we have any other level 1 centers of trade? This one is. Very good. I don't have the money for it. Let's see. Any other level 1 centers of trade? Don't think so. You're level 2. Okay. Alright, looks like we're at level 2s. Good. Oh, this is a mithril ore mine. That's... That is a hefty amount of goblins there. Or... Dame's Crown's in the coalition. I don't care, Dame's Crown. You still have your claims. Good. Escann War Victor requirements. This guy did that. Cool. Wars of Consolidation end. Could do that. Yeah, I think I will. Very nice. What is required to be the victor of the Escann Wars of Consolidation? Let's see. It's been 50 years. Let's get them. The Wars of Consolidation end. The War of the Sorcerer King ended with the climactic battle of Trial Mount. It was a ritual appropriate to the times. A tournament of men and elves selected a handful of the most prominent figures in Cannor to ascend the mountain, take its trials, and slay Nishmir. A few died in the tournament, but many more died in the ascent. But ultimately, taking up Calendale the Gleaming Blade, Clarimond of Oldhaven slew the Dark Mage and ended his reign. But these are not those times. Honor, chivalry, these are all words whose meaning has decayed in the centuries since those great deeds. The Escann Wars of Consolidation do not end with a tournament. Indeed, they do not end with any particular event at all. That may be how history used to go, but it is not the nature of our present chaos. Perhaps the land finally is saturated with blood and can take no more. Perhaps the soldiers are spent, generations left on the battlefield. Perhaps it is just the sight of Corintar's Lauren standing in Cstonath's tallest spire, proclaiming to all the start of a new era. Whatever it is in the future, whatever it is that future historians point to, right now, we only know this. The wars of consolidation are over, and at least for the briefest moment, there will be peace. Very nice. Mercenaries from beyond Escann no longer be available. Wars of consolidation will be disabled. That's fine. Dominant Escann. Cool. Dominant in Escann. Cannor once stood astride all Escann, all Cannor. Then it fell, and in its wake, petty kingdoms rose. Then those too fell, crumbled before the Greentide, and all that was left was devastation. But no more. Out of scraps, we have forged steel. Out of embers, we have lit a wildfire. Out of petty adventuring bands and relic kingdoms, we have created a power that dominates all Escann. And those few corners of the realm which still resist our rule shall fall soon enough. The wars of consolidation are over, and we have won. Now it is time for us to expand our gaze, our ambition. Where should we look next? Let's see. Recast ourselves as Castnor. This is Holy Empire of Corintar. Very nice. That was the thing I was supposed to be. It's probably what I'm supposed to do. Assemble army, sharpen the blades, let Halon come before us. Escanni imperialism. That's pretty cool. We have reclaimed Escann, shattered glory, and now we must see it prosper beneath us. Interesting. I'm gonna hit the save here, I think. I think if I do this one, I can't form Castnor. I'm not sure. But we're gonna do that. Holy Empire of the Corintar. Do we get new missions? We do not. Okay. What does Larasar have missions? Since when does Larasar have a mission tree? They don't even exist in at the start date. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, so I do get the fun little government reform for this, which is, where are you? It's level 6. Level 6, here we go. New Corintar, no? That's the Corinite orders. I thought it was a government reform. Huh, weird. I'm gonna give this a little bit to see if I actually get anything from this. Unexpected beauty, very nice. Oh, is this finally leaving? Good. Get out, please. No? Alright, I'm gonna form Castnor. Because I believe Castnor has missions. I believe this one lets you form Castnor, and Castnor has missions, so we're going to do that. Unexpected beauty, very nice. Cstonath's splendid court has been built to be more beautiful than was to be expected. It will become a prestigious location to host foreign dignitaries and envoys to show the latest developments of our project. Very nice. Half-Orcs, okay. Sure, you can have some manpower. Crisis of identity. For Lauren, the days following the end of the Escann Wars of Consolidation are filled with tedium, joyous tedium, of course, but for under Lauren's rule, Corintar now stood atop all of Escann, but tedium nonetheless. No more sleepless nights obsessing over army movements and front lines, no more stressful meals wondering whether an enemy mage would carve through the magical defenses and burst into the room in a lightning bolt of destruction. With a mind free to wander, Lauren finds himself thinking about Castnor, the greatest and first human empire on Cannor. Often, how could anyone live up to its legacy? Without the responsibilities of war, Lauren finds himself spending more and more time strolling between the marble busts and stone statues of Cstonath's Pantheon way. The relative silence of the district, employed by many as a refuge from the constant shouts of merchants and low murmur of conversation of the rest of the city, was instead deafening to Lauren. Letting untoward thoughts and doubts rush in unimpeded, doubts of the nature of rulership, of the direction of Corintar, amongst others. And so Lauren sought wisdom and insight while walking between forever frozen scenes of Castan's past. How did these near-mythical figures forge Castnor into a continent-spanning empire? How did they ensure the prosperity of their people? How did they bring civilization to all of Cannor uninterrupted for so many centuries? Through myriad times of war and conflict, from the demonic Nolish Zazulbine, through the last death throes of the mighty Giantkin as they broke against Castnor's walls, and through the destructive advent of Zamalot the Black during the Dragonwake, blackening Cstonath itself with dragonfire. Okay, so I get, okay, I guess we're gonna be working on it. Obsidian Legion's back, what? Huh? I mean, good for them for getting the advanced infrastructure, but like... I thought they already popped out over here because... Interesting. Do they have cores, perhaps? No? Weird. Wonder what that was about, then. Wonder how these guys managed to get to be Runefather. Huh. We're gonna go get these guys. Oh, no, they're gonna leave. Alright, cool. Not my problem. Maxed out on admin. I have stability grabs. Let's do that. The Abandoned Trials of Castan. The answer to the greatness and longevity of Castnor, Loran had come to obsessively believe were the mysterious trials of Castan. Many specific details are vague, perhaps lost to the vagrancies of time, but accounts do agree on a few points. The trials were a tradition started by Castan II Beastbane, seeking to follow in the progenitor's footsteps. After summoning the trial mount as Castan the progenitor did, Beastbane added his own trial for every future Castan to complete, and so the tradition continued, with each successive Castan adding their own challenge to the mix. Only by proving one's worth in the ever more complicated trials could one prove oneself worth becoming the next Castan. All this ended with the War of the Sorcerer King and the final battle of Trial Mount. It is said by many that the magical energies and destructive forces wrought by the battle forever tainted the Trial Mount. At the very least, the battle rendered the mountain inaccessible for years after the battle. Okay, this is really old. It needs to be proofread. Stories of still active magic traps, pockets of dark energy, and even echoes of ghostly appearances of the Sorcerer King himself kept most out of the area, even as Castellir and Escann started to consolidate and prosper in the centuries after the war. For the average person, the Trial Mount and the Trials of Castan have long faded into history, banished from the public conscience by the events since such as the Greentide and the Wars of Escann consolidation. Loran was not satisfied. Surely some of the trials would have survived. Surely centuries of time would have dissipated the worst of the remaining dangers of the Trial Mount. And most importantly, experiencing the trials would surely open Loran up to the insight and wisdom of the greatest Castans, just by following in their steps. In the meantime, Trial Mount was overgrown. Glory Road was in disrepair. Many of the paths leading from and to the disparate trials had been swallowed by the hungry roots of trees. In the North Citadel was still a shadow of its former self, without the old aqueduct feeding it. Before any could attempt the trials of Castan again, they would need to be reclaimed from time and wilds. While this was happening, Loran could devote all of his time to poring over every last detail of each of the Castans and preparing for the trials. Cool. I'm gonna lose some money. It's fine. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure this has been repaired. It's the max level, you know? Let's see. Tech. I could take tech. Don't need to take tech. I could develop. Developing's always fun. How are we doing? Yes, I was going to develop this one. We're going to develop this one now. Everything except for military, that's fine. Yeah, let's hit that. Okay. That's now 20. You're both at 20. Okay. Let's move this way. And what do you have for trade goods? Fish, grain, and iron. You guys get to have... I'm going to give you institution spread, actually. You're at 26. You're fine. You're at 10. And here. Alright, that looks good. That's a good use of my points. Use my military points that I wanted, but, you know, whatever. Red dust spread, very good. Kobold. Dragon Forge rebuilt. Combined with the latest innovations in metallurgy, whilst still respecting the original dwarven design, the flames of the Dragon Forge can once again be seen across the Cstonath skyline. Thousands of smiths, crafters, and even artificers flock to the forge and its surrounding neighborhoods. One of the first production lines in the Dragon Forge has already sent out its first batch of mass-produced weapons, ready for use by the armies of the Corintar. Very nice. And let's see, the Dragon Forge, local recruitment time, regiment cost. Best regiment cost ever, and monthly military power. Very nice. One of Balgar the Builder's wonders, the Dragon Forge produced the arms for the legions of Cannor. The Dragon Forge is a massive foundry that sits on one of the natural hills of Cstonath, long covered by stone. Huh? Yeah, hills are made with stone. What? That's... okay. I think that might be stone as in buildings. At the top of the forge itself is a massive dragon's head that can be seen spewing fire when large shipments of metal are melted. Very nice. Let's get that out of here when I can. Should be soon. Devotion or Prestige. I'm maxed out on both of them. Don't really care. All roads lead to the splendid court. Cstonath was once the heart of humanity and the heart of all civilization. With our renovations of the Imperial Palace and the accompanying apartments and other structures built and repaired, we are now able to better consolidate the state and help keep the nobility distracted with the modern form of the Cannorian bread and circuses. Splendid balls and parlor games, very nice. And North Cstonath becomes the new capital. I'm okay with that. Okay, we're going to move this to be transferred here from Cstonath, because I'm just going to control all of that. We're going to push it into Cstonath. Vampires disappear. Good. Woo! That's a lot going right here. Okay. Get rid of this loan. And we get to look at this. It is this one. Splendid Court. Diplo Relations +1, Maximum Absolutism +10, and Monthly Admin +1. The Splendid Court is the moniker for the renovated Imperial Palace and its royal grounds, including apartments for courtiers. It is built to not only house an empire, but also to entertain and unify an empire under one ruler and one government. Very nice. And extra Diplo Relation means you get to be my vassal. Congratulations. Uh-huh. Give me the guarantee. Very nice. And then next is give me your trade. Thank you. I can wait on the tech. Can have access. And now we wait. Hey, coalition's gone. Good. Very good. I'd like you to be my vassal before I do anything. 163, perfect timing. Let's grab you some of that. Unhappy supposedly artisans. That's fine. Patricians can suck it. I don't care. And vassalize, thank you. Increase in total tolerance, very good. Alright, you, Cook Deer, congratulations. I'm gonna actually make you a march in just a minute. And Lawasar needs to like me more. There you go. Can you get some claims for me? Perfect, thank you. What are we building? Ah, Belmire, very nice. Yeah, that's good. Alright, you get to be a march. Designate march, thank you. You get to have all my stuff in there. Uh-huh. And now I'm going to give you some provinces. Yes. The morale of armies at the end of their ideas is what I liked here. Is it morale plus 10? That's not bad. It's in here. Do I want to give him all of it? I think I'll keep some of it for now. I think I'll end up losing a guy from this. This is almost done. I'll wait for this to finish first. There we go. Great timing. And cook deer. There you go. Have fun. Alright, I'll look at that in a second. I have something here to do. Please. Alright, wonderful. The Trials of Castan restored. Finally, the restoration of the Trials of Castan were complete before Loran could get too excited, however. A small contingent from the Cstonath patricians, having gotten wind of the completion of the restoration, approaches. Certain patrician factions and families are more protective of Castnorian history and legacy than others, and this was clearly from one such family that took enormous pride in tracing their line directly from the very first Castanites. Proud and haughty as always, they quickly made their intentions known. They wished to dissuade Loran from attempting the trials. They warned Loran of the dangers posed by the trials, of the consequences of reigniting such a tradition in modern times, and above all, of soiling the legacy of Castnor. According to them, only those descending from old Castnorian blood can rule, meaning that only those who share the blood of the original Castanites can become Castan. They cite the proclamations of Castan, which states the following: "Henceforth, all those that have followed and endured with me shall be known as my people, Castanites, and our realm successors will be your blood and your blood alone." Loran dismisses this out of hand, of course, for had not the proclamation been broken by Castan Ebenfrost and his successors, who were all Garudian? Don't mind him, it's fine. Be mad. We will unlock ability to take the Trials of Castan and reform Castnor anytime we wish. Very nice. So what do we do with that? I need to be independent and at peace, and I have the estate. In the North Citadel has modifier Castnorian Citadel. Okay. Not already attempted and failed. Okay. Revive Castan's Empire. Castan's Empire, commonly known as Castnor, was the first human empire in all of history. Forged through war and flame, Castnor triumphed over the dark beasts of Escann, and without them, humanity would never have become as great as they are today. To take up the mantle of Castnor again, your ruler must first pass the Trials of Castan like every Castan has beforehand. The Trials are a rigorous ascent up the trial mount, with dangers both magical and mundane. A true challenge for any aspirant. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, let him die, I don't care. Take the trial. Give me something here. The Trials of Castan, a tradition and mode of succession unique to Castnor, was established in 618 BA. The near-mythical Castan, the progenitor, slain during the first Great Cleansing years after defeating a Gnollish invasion headed by the demonic Zazubine, left behind an interregnum period fraught with uncertainty. The able Castan Beastbane would take up the mantle of Emperor after establishing the Trials of Castan, a series of tests designed to determine a worthy successor for Castnor. Each successive Castan had to pass the trials left behind by their predecessors, while adding their own to test the trials at the end. Own test to the trials at the end. The trials continued on for centuries until the Sorcerer King brought Castnor crumbling down with his ambitions on the rest of Cannor. His final defeat came at the Battle of Trialmount, where a band composed of free realm heroes and their elven saviors defeated the Sorcerer King. The trials were irreparably damaged during the battle. Its magic either drained, severed, or otherwise rendered useless. Or so everyone thought at the time. To restore Castnor, the first human empire and master of much of Cannor for centuries, our ruler must pass the Trials of Castan, as every ruler of Castnor has done in the past, starting from the gates of the North Citadel, the traditional setting-off point for the trials. Loran readies himself for what would surely be a long and arduous journey. Let's go. Trials of Castan the 13th, the Quiet. Not far from the main entrance to the trials was marked one of the first of the trials that every prospective Castan had to pass. Scratched prominently on an otherwise nondescript stone was the trial of Castan the 12th. The Quiet. Okay, I think one of those is a typo. Standing at the foot of the rock, Loran is to shout a rally cry so loud that the garrison from the North Citadel could hear directly and raise a response. Hear clearly and raise a response. Use magic to enhance it. Rig up a contraption to enhance your voice. Take a deep breath and yell as loud as you can. I don't think you're magical. Let's do a contraption. Success. Loran loses a mighty bellow with the force of their lungs, startling several small animals out of the undergrowth. The cry reverberates through the forest, amplified and carried by the wind. Before the North Citadel garrison even has a chance to raise a flag in acknowledgement, the marked stone glows vibrantly, pulsing with magical energy, signifying Loran's success at this particular trial. Cool. Trials of Castan. The journey continues. It is now midday as the Loran's attempt continues. Confidence grows as many of the simpler trials are completed, but the hardest is still yet to come. Trial of Castan the 22nd, the eccentric. Castan the 22nd's trial is as distinctive as he was. Loran comes to a large boulder upon which the challenge details are inscribed. Jump around this rock 10 times. That's it. Truly Loran looks for a hidden secret, but some veiled clue, but there's nothing. Do it. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Huh? Did I overcount? I overcounted. We're gonna try that again. I counted 1 twice. I'm stupid. Counting's hard, guys. It's really hard to count. I can do math. Math is easy. I can do arithmetic in my head. Super easy. Counting's something totally different. Anyway, we're gonna go through those again. Yeah. Coalition, whatever. I don't care. Get him out of here. Diplomatic insult. How about everyone likes me? Silver blood conspirators. I don't care what the elves do. Do what they want. Yep, upgrade this, please. Thank you. There we go. Trials restored. Should be able to hit this. Thank you. There we go. Set off. Oh, this is a different one. The Trial Mount Oathstone. Loran proceeds to step into the Trial Mount forest, forging ever forward. The trees grow ever more twisted and gnarled as rays of dappled sunlight grow ever more rare. Suddenly, the old growth thins out completely into a clearing. Once adjusted to the sudden glare of the sunlight reflecting off the glossy stone, Loran realizes that they are looking at the Trial Mount Oathstone. Chiseled directly into the rock are the oaths and pledges of previous Castans. Even the newest oaths are faded, long worn by the elements, and the oldest oaths are barely legible. The greatest despoiler was not time, however, for the damage wrought by the Battle of Trial Mount is on full display here. With mighty cracks reaching to the very base of the Oathstone itself, the magic of the Trials of Castan is nothing, if not adaptable and resilient, and though weak, rivulets of magic run through the Oathstone still. Loran must prove their sincerity in taking the oaths. Castan the 7th, the Preserver. I will protect my people through any means. Castan the 20th, the Youthful. I will place my full trust in my appointed regents and councils, until I am ready to rule on my own. Castan the 21st, the Compassionate. I will treat every single one of Castanor's citizens as if they were my own children. I get something. I get stuff for this. Okay, that's cool. So, fort defense, I get advisor cost. Your oath will be deemed sincere and accepted regardless of all of them. Okay. Fort defense, advisor cost for corruption, or unrest for state maintenance. I guess give me fort defense, sure. Okay. Trial of the Oathstone, success. Barely a second passes after the last word of the final oath is uttered by Loran before the Oathstone starts glowing. The monument starts irradiating in a comfortable heat, which quickly grows hotter and hotter until almost searing. With a sudden explosion of energy, Loran is thrown back to the hard forest floor, an oath now branded onto their body, brilliantly scarlet against the crumbling skin, but already fading away. Okay. Journey continues, very nice. And I should have that written here. No? It's not a country modifier, it's a special modifier. The trees soon start to clear out as the greenery turns to scrubs and bushes at higher elevations. From a distance, Loran makes out peculiar structure. A motley mix of variously sized stones and precious gems seemingly mashed together at random and held together with magical energy. This could only be the crown of mankind. Though likely a striking moment in the days of the early Castans, the later emperors had clearly put less and less thought into their offerings, and now the structure was in dire need of upkeep and rearranging. To progress past this trial, created by Castan IV, Realm Builder, Loran is to add their own piece to the structure. The first challenge was to decide what type of material the new addition would be made of. Only a crown jewel will do, obviously. The enchantment. A closer inspection revealed that each piece of the structure seemed to have its own unique enchantment, magically preserved through the ages. What shall we add to ours? Make it enchanted to be hard and brittle as any diamond, enchant it with magnetic binding properties, or enchant it with a brilliant glow. Let's do the glow. And the placement. The last step was to finally add the enchanted item to the structure itself. Where shall it go? Find an unassuming spot. The foundations look like they need some shoring up, or only benefiting to go atop the top. Let's do foundations. Very good. Loran places the item in the location. After a few tense seconds, it snaps into place. Very nice. The summit is within sight. The sun dips ever lower as the Trials of Castan nears its conclusion. The Trial Mount is now awash in the soft and hazy glow of the sunset, with trees casting sway, elongated shadows in the dusk breeze. The bulk of the trials have been completed, but one more trial remains before Loran can ascend to the very top of Trial Mount and be crowned the next Castan. And the trial of Castan II, the Beastbane. Soon Loran stumbles into a nondescript forest clearing with a wide, oddly flat boulder. Were it not for the worn-out, clearly human-made marks carved directly in the otherwise smooth surface of the aforementioned boulder, the forest clearing could have passed for any other out of the hundreds of forest clearings on the Trial Mount, the boulder for any other part of the thousands of boulders on the mountain. The marks clearly indicate that this particular clearing is the site of Castan II Beastbane. Beastbane was one of the most storied of the Castans, with nearly the entirety of his life painstakingly recounted in dozens of murals, statues, and other pieces of art in Cstonath's Pantheon way. If the chronicles are to be believed, it was Beastbane who rid Escann of the centaurs and fey-infested woods and allowed human civilization to flourish. Beastbane who finally drove the remnants of the gnollish oppressors out of Cannor, and Beastbane who carried his campaign against all things beastly into Bulwar. Finally, it was Beastbane who cleaved deeper into the Salahad, through the heartland of the Gnolls, and pushed his legion into the demonic gates leading to the Gnoll homeland itself, sacrificing himself and his men to close the gates forevermore. Beastbane's trial was simple in concept. Hunt down a beast in the Trial Mount forest, bring its carcass to the very slab of stone in this nondescript clearing, and craft something useful from the beast's remains. Luckily, Loran had come across the tracks of a young basilisk nearby, a worthy beast to fell for this trial. Ask the local forest spirits for the whereabout, or rely on your own tracking skills. Here's the floor. I'll go for it. With confidence, Loran kneels to inspect the direct marks left in the dirt by the basilisk passage. A scan of the surroundings revealed a cracked branch here, a slight depression of the undergrowth there, and any of those on its own could have been just as easily left by any random stag or harmless forest denizen. But taken in totality, in the presence of several faded telltale scales, forward! The basilisk appears. After grueling tracking later, the land finally arrives at the large maw of the cave. The muddy ground in front of the entrance crossed with the long gashes characteristic of basilisk tracks, and its depths lost in the shadow. Chunks of stone, vaguely reminiscent of limbs, previous victims perhaps, serve as a stark reminder of the basilisk's petrifying gaze. Pushing through the thick sense of unease that seems to saturate the air, Loran slowly enters the cave, senses on hair trigger. Several tense minutes later, Loran is able to make out the end of the cave and the basilisk, sleeping peacefully as a newborn babe. Thankfully, haphazardly around the basilisk are what appears to be several molted skins. Some old, some quite fresh. No! Kill it while it's down! Fighting the basilisk. I believe that's a picture of a Tarask, though. Avoid the eyes, avoid the eyes, avoid the eyes. This was a mantra Loran repeated to themselves, if the eyes of the beast and its victim met, the victim would swiftly be turned to stone and the battle ended. This was easier said than done, of course. In the oppressive darkness, the eyes of the basilisk, alight with magical glow, seemed a lodestone as it swept its head back and forth, following the weaving Loran. As Loran gets close, the basilisk rises up on its hind legs, preparing to deal a swiping blow with the dagger-sharp claws on its forelimbs. Loran sees the only chance, and they take it. Loran locks their gaze with the basilisk, and in that split second, thrusts their weapon up, aiming to pierce through the slightly thinner neck of the basilisk and into the head. Human beasts stand locked in frozen time until the light goes out. Very nice. 10 prestige. With a final plop, Loran heaves the basilisk into the clearing that marked the start of the trial, begun so many hours ago. Relocating the still warm corpse of the basilisk was an ordeal, one not made any easier by the hungry eyes of the steadily growing crowd of scavengers following the corpse. But it was at last done. Now for the part of the trial, to make use of the beast's corpse. Brew potions from the ichor, fashion something from the pelt, or fashion a dagger from the fearsome teeth. You're 74, I don't really care. Just give me that. Loran looks at the grisly consequences of the hours of frenzied handiwork. Basilisk ichor splattered all over, marring the forest floor, and half-butchered pieces of skin and flesh ruined through sloppy knife work. Hours of work only to fashion something truly pitiful from the basilisk's corpse. Inspiring or effective, these results were not, but sufficient for the purposes of the trial, they were. Very nice. And coronation of a new Castan. Loran has returned from the trial mount, lips quiet of the ordeal that happened above, but also with eyes shining of triumph and authority. It is clear to all that Loran has passed the trials and will be anointed as a new Castan. I pledge to defend my land and my people to the end of my days, but will not bring unjust strife into the world. I pledge to hold back corruption and sin, both worldly and divine, and speak the truth evermore. I pledge to remain steadfast in Castanor's darkest days, for I am its guardian. May the gods listen to my words and deem me worthy of their divine majesty, and that it may bless Castanor long after I'm gone. Very nice. Get Oath of the Preserver. Let's see, I get to be Castanor. North Citadel becomes a new capital. North Citadel becomes a capital, okay. Permanent claims on the rest of Castanor. Traditions and ambitions, and set Dominion cap to 2. I'll have to see what that works out. Yes, we're going to do new traditions and ambitions. Question of succession. Yes. We are now a empire proper. Every ruler of Castanor has to pass the trials of Castan to be considered legitimate. That is without question. For most of Castanor's history, the death of a Castan would trigger a scramble for the trial mount and the trials. The aspirants competed for the right to become the next Castan. This was the way for centuries, until the Gerudian Ebenfrost wrested control of the trials for themselves. Instigating a policy where only the direct heirs of Ebenfrost dynasty were allowed onto the trial mount to take the trials. We are at a crossroads, as the first to succeed in the trials in many centuries. With the trials reinstated now, what shall our policy be? Stay true to tradition, or Ebenfrost had the right idea, dynastic succession? Do I care about becoming Castan? Disallow royal marriage. No, I think we're going to do that. We should have royal marriage. That's a tough one, actually. Prohibit switching government type. Interesting. But this one, I could switch government type. That's... Huh. Oh, no, I can't. Can't do primary culture. Can't do primary culture. Nah, I like this one. No, let's do the special way, because it's different. All right, what do we got? Trials of Castan original. The ancient nation of Castanor has long relied on the Trials of Castan, a series of arduous tests on the trial mount to prove that the claimant of the empire is worthy to rule. In times past, many claimants would flock to the Temple of Castalos at the base of the trial mount to complete the climb, and the trials against each other for the title of Castan and become Emperor of Castanor. As it was, so will it be. Very nice. I believe I get a free one of these. We'll take that. Thank you. You. I did not vassalize you yet. So we're going to hit that button. And we do have new missions. I'll have to deal with that in a minute. Let's get these set up. Magical Elite sounds pretty fun. And let's not. Puppet Nobility, interesting. Interesting, that's an interesting one. Okay, allow estate privileges to be revoked regardless of loyalty and influence. And I can only do that because I have espionage ideas. Okay. That sounds fun. That's unique. We are about to be in the next age. So I'm going to go for representatives of the crown. No? Regional councils is usually the better one. Regional councils is really strong. Oh, I do have proclaimed Corinite orders. Very nice. I can keep that one around. I like that. We were on Elvish Farsight, but I can do this one. Ooh, Ogre Shield Bearers. That's fine. I can do Goblins now, too. And I can do Half-Orcs. I thought I could do Gnomes. I guess there's no Gnomes in here. We're going to keep the Elves around for that one. General Estates is probably the better one here. Nope. Parliament's not allowed. Interesting. Yeah, General Estates is pretty good. What about this one? Relations pretty nice. Royal Decree. Let's do Royal Decree. Dynastic Administration. Probably not. Admin-free policy. Sounds good. That shows our roots as a theocracy. This one we're going for Embrace Economic Theory, of course. It's the best one there. Not doing that one. Balance of Power. Treaty of Government. Leviathan. Leviathan's the one we want here. And almost there. I am the state. This decent regional representation. Possible policies. Define rights. I think this one's good for being a former theocracy, and we're not quite there yet. Okay, cool. Free admin policy. Typical annexation cost. Tech. Let's grab the tech. Alright, we are white. In the next episode, I will go over all of these things. And I will... I think I could feed them now. Let's feed them all this stuff again. All of these provinces get to go over to Kogdir. And I believe I did convert this one. Yes, I did. Good. Kogdir. You can just have all these. I don't particularly want them. Now, do we have the tunnel here? It's not quite done. Okay. And we're going to do the mission in the next one as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you next time.